Hi. So today's class I have taglined twists, bows, and bakasanas. Sort of in that order. The practice that I know and love at this point after 20 years is I always love to come back to these big archetypes, these big poses. You know, it's like the warrior poses or the fold or the down dog, and these are the big shapes, these archetypes, right? And in the yoga asana practice, we can call out a shape and say, oh, do warrior pose or do down dog. And, you know, at some point, we all might come to, or at least I have come to the point where I'm looking for a little bit more subtlety in that, or as my teacher says, nuance. And I had a shift at some point in yoga, maybe like 2011 or something, where the big poses just weren't landing on me like the way that they used to. And so I wanted to go a little deeper, and I that's such a big word to use, it doesn't make any sense, but I did. And I found other ways into the shapes. Instead of trying to, you know, cram myself into a shape, I tried to find a way that the shape fit and fell upon me. So those practices, they could be broad, like yin or restorative. I like somatics, which is the embodiment of the subtle body, the way that the mind and the heart and the body all come together and feel asana shape and feel the limbs of yoga past asana when we're moving deeper into breath and pratyahara, that, you know, subtleness of inward gazing before concentration and whatnot. But also there's something that I don't even know if I can put my finger on it. It's that nuance of just like taking time to feel your way into a shape. And I'm going to encourage you to explore that today. So the archetype might be a warrior pose or a fold, which I'm calling a bow, or bakasana, which is an arm balance. But if we're always looking at the same thing through the same lens, then I don't think we can really change our mind. And in a world where prejudice is the key and the root of everything that we're feeling that is unfair and unjust and uncomfortable, we are here on the mat to shift that perspective and that prejudice and open space to be more in the practice of looking at what we're doing physically and what we're feeling physically and emotionally. So that speech aside, if you are a person who's arm to leg, arm to hand ratio needs a belt, grab one. I'm one of those people. I'll just make it work. If you're a person who's got crabby knees, grab a blanket. I'm that person, and of course didn't bring any props. And as you're ready, start in any comfortable seat. This is comfortable for me, kneeling and sitting in deep ankle extension. And start with two palms together. And a practice that I'm working on right now is finding a mantra. And I always sit every morning. It's not easy. I drag myself some days to the mat to sit. And I begin my practice with just an inside feeling of my landscape, how I'm feeling today, and how the world is landing on me. So that's one part. How's the world landing on you? And then the second part is, how are you responding to how the world's landing on you? And my response to how the world's landing on me is my mantra. And it's a mantra as old as time. And how can I be of service? And how can I be open to what is unfolding around me? And you pick your own mantra, or I use mine. It's not mine only. And seal your affirmation if you've had one, and if not, the willingness to accept that that could be with one sound, please. And as you're ready, the first shape that we'll make will be supine. So come to your back and land with your 2 feet on the floor, and find a way to make the back ribs, the back floating ribs, to press down into the mat. The pelvis might want to tilt and coil the tail. See if you can remain pretty neutral, like one long line from the back of the ribs through the pelvis. And then lengthen one leg at a time, like Shavasana shape. And if this is uncomfortable, do the needful, come back. So like Shavasana, leg bones heavy. And wiggle the feet together. And draw the 2 knees in, like what is called baby ball by some teachers and some practices. Like coil your toes and coil your fingers and draw your head up like baby crow pose, right from the gate. And then as you're ready, 2 feet down to the mat. And I want you to keep your right foot on the floor and lengthen your left leg. And grab the back of your skull, the nape of your neck with your fingers. And you can kind of find like the thumb points into the back of the jaw here if you like. If the shoulders are healthy, you can press and open your arms down, but mine are not. So I'm driving elbows up to protect my shoulder. And right out the gate, with the right foot on the floor, grab the floor with the right heel. And press the breath into the upper back. Push so heavy with the right foot that you roll to your left hip. And just let the breath cascade over to the left too. And you can pause here, and there's this little lift where the elbows go up and there's a back bend. And be conscious about flaring your ribs, and maybe you collect the ribs and lengthen the spine through the back bend. So in Smatics, this work is called the flower. And you exhale down. And do that 3 or 4 times on your own. Keep the whole right foot on the floor. Roll to your left. Inhale, long ribs. And exhale. That was the floor, not my bones cracking. And you're pushing, and I'm pushing through the outside of my right heel. I'm doing some work in the hamstring to drive over. And your 2 sides. Let your 2 knees come in. Draw your head up to your knees, and then see if you can kind of hover like 90 degrees here. Send the palms through, and like just kind of pause and knit the ribs towards the pelvis here with a wide upper back. So this is a little harder, knees away. This is by far easier, and I'm just kind of going into the middle and trying to lift ribs towards pelvis. And then lengthen right leg, press left foot down. 3 times through the flower onto, let's do 4 to the right. So now you can see the foot's glued down, ribs knitted in, exhale back. So find your own way in through your breath. This practice is about feeling. Your eyes might be closed. There's no wrong way to do this. It's a push, side bend, back bend, middle. And feel your way right back to the middle, knees in again. And this time feet up. We're gonna load happy baby. So not everyone grab their feet in happy baby. So whatever you can get to. Maybe grab a belt. And as you are ready, rock a little bit. And I've already started to rock or appendiculate side to side. And see if you can find the low back and the tail on the floor too. A lot of happy baby work has kind of like come up here into the upper back. And see if you can get the whole lower back, the sides of the kidneys, sides of the sacrum as you rock. Keep connection to right foot, place left foot on the floor. Coil up now, one leg. And as you coil up, see if you can draw a little bit of the outer right sit bone towards the left thigh, rather than winging the hip out. And come on up and wide upper back, head to knee. And as you exhale, shoot the left leg long. And 3 or 4 times like that. And you can float with maybe lengthening right leg and left leg at the same time. Now you have 2 hands, you might have 1, but it's head down, legs out. Happy baby. Take a little rock side to side. Keep a hold of your left leg, put your right foot on the floor. Draw the outer part of your right hip, technically your right sit bone, towards your inner left groin to lengthen your left side, and then coil on up. Lengthen. And you could do a little coil and lengthen. And stick it up with the breath. Maybe you lengthen both legs. And let that be the work. To have head down, legs lengthened, belly wide, and back ribs on the floor. 2 legs come up. 2 hands capture big toes or outside the feet, and then it's like upside down straddle pose or prasarita, inverted. And rock a little side to side. And I'm going to try not to take out every single one of these candles and this orchid, and very carefully go to the left first, and then can you exhale 2 feet together onto your left side. I call this the big sky scissors. It's funny. Take a little bow down the middle, bend the elbows, bend the knees if you need to. But then big sky scissors. So as you roll onto left ribs, find mid-spine, right ribs. I'm going to have to bow in. Coil towards your right. And you're knitting the ribs towards the pelvis, and then you're inhaling left leg up, right leg over in. You know, any way you feel your way in is your way. And I'm not here to judge you because I can't see you and I don't know where you are in the space-time continuum. So this is the archetype, sky scissors. And whatever you do in between is what you do, and that's your practice. I'm rolling across my back. I'm using all of my spine. You can creep a little higher and higher, legs towards face, like Paschimottanasana fold. That's a bow. And then check it out. Come to the middle and see if you can kind of keep your hand to foot, like Padahastasana connection. And then rock the other way. So like tip towards exhale, Halasana. And then maybe you can come up to a seat. And go back when you're ready, and we're going to take it all the way up. So back you go. And check it out. As you want to come up, you look up and push through the balls of your feet and stand up. Like Urdhva Hastasana, hands could come up overhead. And when you're ready to go downtown, it's head down, spine down, roll down. And here's the secret. Grab the floor with hamstrings, sit on your booty, Keep your chin tucked to your chest, roll down through your spine. Let's go back. Look up, stand up. Exhale that down. And you look down, you go down. I'm just gonna flirt with those two big shapes. You could use your hands. I mean, clearly I've been doing this for more than today, so it's accessible. The roll down's still hard for me. And I prefer to do things that are harder than things I do well, because in life, that is just unrealistic. Next time you come up, come to some type of fold, some type of bow, some type of uttanasana. And plug your right hand underneath your right foot and your left hand underneath your left foot. And try to widen all the bones and the flesh of the back of the hands. Bend the elbows slightly, bend the knees slightly, and pour your weight into your toes, through your hands, and through the earth. Next shape is all fours. So as you're ready, step them back to the all fours shape. And from all fours shape, can you find what you think is a neutral spine? So not neutral will be that. That's a back bend. That's a fold. So what's your best guess on pelvis being neutral? And here's a tip, put the back of your hand into your mid-spine and see if it's dipping and making a pull or if it's pressing up. Find neutral. It's useful in life, it's useful for your spine, it's useful for your shoulders and your pelvis. And from here, little cat and cow, I think they call this the sunbird. Knee to nose. And then unneutral, come to like cow pose, press right heel back. And then through neutral the best you can, cat, cow. Cat, neutral. Other side. Press. And this is pull. Pull the ribs towards the pelvis. Press the tail towards the heel. And then last time. Pause in the neutral. And walk your fingertips in. So check it out. Fingertips in could be something as simple as you sitting back and trying to drag your fingertips up your body. Easy peasy. Could be more challenging to keep the pelvis moving forwards, not move the hips, not move the knees, and walk fingertips towards thighs. So this way I'm stacking my spine and might black out because it's really hard. Charlotte will give me CPR. And when you come up to standing, kneeling, play with this little movement. And this is so useful. I just give props to my teacher, Teresa, because she's amazing. In this whole psoas area, you know, your psoas connects into the ribs of the thoracic spine. It goes down through the pelvis. It's in the thighs. And I kind of have come to think of like the psoas as like the lifter of the posture. It's like the balloon. And it can pull us down or it can lift us up. So what I want you to work on is what is it like to try to not lean into the tendency to wobble and really work to step straight the right foot out. And I'll walk to the camera for the first one. Do you see how easy it will be to fall off the midline? But if I look forward, lift up, press my ribs back, I only have to lean a little bit. Like deer in the headlights. Hard not to wobble. Try that side to side, right and left. When you're getting pretty good at it, maybe it's like no hands. This is clearly helpful. Maybe it's like no hands, and I'm gliding a little bit on my toe. Whoa. Step through, and then bow in. Knit the front ribs towards the pelvis, cat fold, bow. Hands to the floor if you need it, but if not, unpack your back toes. Arms extend, shoulders extend, and come on up to a lunge. Can you lengthen both your legs in the lunge? And then stand right at the top of the mat. And then inhale like classic. Arms up, ribs back. And when you're ready, it's the same leg that goes back. And try to step almost from the belly. See if you can lift the ribs as you reach the left leg back. And here's your vinyasa. You switch. I found a spider and I'm staring it down. Right there. So left foot comes through. And then knit front ribs. Bow. Prostrate yourself. You don't have to bow to anyone. You can just bow to yourself. Shoulder extension, arm extension, back and up. Two long legs. And like big buoyant. A little pop up and inhale. Bow if you like, but when you come up, right leg goes back. This side's a little harder for me. It's a little stickier. Let's do it again. In between the two sides, pause. Right leg goes forward. Prostrate, bow. Unpack, lunge. Inhale, lift. Whoa. Straight up we go. Fire up, back leg. Step up, reach up. Left leg goes back. Two feet together, two legs together. Left leg goes forward at your leisure. Ooh, hard side. Take your bow. Take your lift. Take your flight. So think like warrior 3, and then up you go. Namaskar. Two hands together. Right leg goes back. And then unpack it. Try to stand tall, lift up, like right leg so long in the front. And then from here, clear the runway for knees, chest, and chin. So if you reverse down, you could walk right forward onto your hands. Be in a prostration here, a bow, a fold in. Thumbs up, lumbar spine long. And the hands plant by the sides, an opportunity to pull the chest through. And pause in Cobra Bhujangasana. And fire up in front of the pelvis, right onto the floor. And take a breath, and as you're ready, you can curl your toes under and find your way back and feel your way through what needs to be done. We could go back the way you came, or do push-up. Down dog, pause. Come up high on the balls of your feet. Roll over your toes, land on your knees. Come back to standing, kneeling, walk fingertips in. So keep pressing pelvis towards arms. Keep rolling head up over pelvis. And ideally, two hands could come up at the same time, and I needed one. And from here, step out left to side angle. And side angle, catch an ankle, catch a block, catch a side, and then as you lean to the left. Side bend, right ribs up like a rainbow. Do what you want for your right hand. Take a pause. And with an exhale, right hand swings around to the floor, meets left. Spin on your right knee. And unpack your right leg to lunge towards the left. And turn that into like a little pigeon lunge and lengthen through the collarbone. It's actually wide and not lengthen, can't lengthen your bones. Anywho, and flip that into a little twist. So side bend, right ribs to the floor, swing right ribs towards left leg. And then as you're ready, your exit is a fold, wide-legged prasarita. So press through left leg, pivot, and fold right down the middle. And as you pause, you can rock the weight sort of to the toes and to the heels. And in 2 points of exit, you can either just kind of rock forward and ticky-tack the feet, or you can rock your weight into your hands, and if the shoulders are healthy, knit the 2 shoulder blades onto the back and kind of float with a little handstand in between here. So you can just jump forward and like a little pop, 2 feet together. To the dog, press the hips back, up and forward. And find your way back to head over hips. And right leg comes out. And you bow to the left. So as much as the left ribs are going up to the ceiling, the left hip is also moving out towards the left, right heel pulling towards right groin. And you do what you want with your hand and your gaze. But I'm leaning back and into it. And when the time comes, it's fingertips to floor. Find a way to safely uncoil, unpack, and come to a little twist. Back bend. Extend first. And then open on up. Ribs sling to the floor, ribs sling to the ceiling, and swing left side into right. And as you're ready, prasarita, fold right down the middle. And take your exit. We'll do that one more time. Rock your weight forward. And jump back to down dog. Roll through a plank here. Inhale. Drop to your knees. Uncoil your toes. Your chest and your chin. And as much as the booty goes back, the heart pulls forward into Bhujangasana. Wide pelvis, wide belly. And back you go. Down dog. And standing kneeling. Walk on up. And try to press right up. Left side out. Side bend. Side lunge. Back bend pigeon. Pour weight into right hand. Take it to a twist and a side bend. Wide leg fold, right down the middle, prasarita. Rock. I'm going to jump to down dog. You find your way to where you need to. Knees, chest, chin, right in between. Dog if you like. Down dog. As you're ready. Last time outside. So I'm trying to come up with 2 hands now. Head over hips. It's like, get to some point here where I just gotta pull myself up. Whoop. Side bend. Take it to a back bend lunge. Take it to a twist and a side bend. Fold to the top. Something down the middle, down dog, up dog, knee suggestion, anything you like. We'll all meet in down dog, even if it's just you and me. Wide feet, down dog. Narrow hands, down dog. And I'm working really hard with this shift of weight. So we'll step left leg forward, and the invitation is to try to take your left hand and your left leg off the mat at the same time. That was loud and unnecessary. And your right foot stays on the back right hand corner of your mat. When you come up, it's just like simply warrior one. Right heel's turning slightly in, toes out. Do what you want with your hands. I have this little sequence from my teacher, and I'm going to turn it into a vinyasa. And as you reach up, dive through and bow. Stay kind of low. Just turn on the heels and the toes. Line up your right foot with the left side of your mat. And then that old archetype warrior two. Sorry to come up back to you. And as you're ready, dive on down to side angle. You can pause here for a moment. Get your feet super strong. You feel like the toes are embedded in the earth, the heel is embedded in the earth. And you can swing your right booty underneath. And can you just come up to lunge to the back of the mat? And can you come to eagle legs at the back of the mat? Cross the left leg over the right. You don't have to do anything with the arms, but maybe just turn around and take a dive down to a fold. And you could here do the bakasana. You could flirt with a little arm balance prep. Tap the toes. Walk it out to a dog. Find your dog pose and take a breath in. And finding plank when you're ready. And shifting back to the other side. Wide feet. Narrow hands. My side isn't as strong. We're stepping right foot forward, finding left heel down, Virabhadrasana 1. When you're ready, come on up and come right on off of that narrow stance. Prostrate yourself down to a bow. Swing your right booty half in. Roll through the middle, see if you can glide on your heels. Line up your feet before you come back to that old warrior two. And pause for a moment there before you move to a nice strong side angle. So clear the head's in line with the spine. Spine's long. Ribs are wide. Your feet, get your gaze, get your game face on. Lunge to the back. You start with that lunge first as you step up. This is all that psoas work. Testing your balance through a little faux eagle curtsy. Right foot on the floor, take a spin. And fold down through some type of bow. Keep it leveling up and moving towards crow pose. You could just flirt with that little tip forward or sit into to squat pose. Take it to a dog when you're ready. Something down the middle, up dog, cobra, something. Wide feet, narrow hands, one more time. Like a chorus, left foot comes through. Right foot lands like warrior one foot. Swing left booty in, inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive down. Find your way to warrior two. Side angle. And for you, find your way to the back. Ribs to pelvis, to thighs, to earth. Fold and find crow pose or down dog. Last time, feet wide, hands narrow. Left foot like warrior one, step the right foot outside. Reach up. Bow down. Warrior two to the back. See if you can pivot on a dime. And that's what we're doing right now. Pivoting in life. Side angle. And dripping on down. In your way. Before you get ready to find some sort of strength and grace to rebound. Woo-hoo. For eagle pose. Last dive, last crow pose here. Moving forward with the breath, inhale. Find your way to dog. And the back bend in between of your choice. Could just be plank pose. Could be belly down, could be sphinx. By any back bend choice that you maybe felt was more appropriate, do the one that happened to do. And when you're ready, swiggle on back to a wide child's pose. And if the shoulders are healthy, press the back of the palms to the backs of the pelvis, or interlace the hands at the back of the pelvis. And if that's not available to you, come belly down and pause here, or find something in the middle. So you figure that out. That's part of your practice. Whatever you choose is reasonable. At least by me it is. And last little couple sequences here. Take a little pause in child's pose and belly down, just kind of wiggle side to side in the breath. If you're face down, you can roll along the third eye in between. But anywho, down dog widths. This is, after all, a strong Vinyasa class. Come up when you're ready. And simply warrior one, left foot can be down first. Right foot can step forward. Maybe more of a narrow warrior one. As you're ready, inhale, come on up. To pause and figure it out. So ideally the left hip is moving forward, not at the expense of the knee. And the ribs can still go back and in. And can you step right up into tree pose? And if you're going to use your hand, there's nothing wrong with that. So just find where you need to be. And make yourself whatever tree you want to be. And press a little bit of the foot and the thigh together in the middle to get perspective on your strength. You can do a couple different things here. You can flirt with different ways to balance, different ways to fold in tree pose, which is extremely difficult. Whatever you've gotten yourself into, get yourself out of it by warrior one. Right back down. Try to find your way back in. Switch your sides at your leisure. Take a dive. Can you reconnect through the center like a little plank? Step back. Right leg warrior style, externally rotate, left leg like a lunge. On your way, strong feet first before you whip your spine up. Instead, come up nice and slow and depth wise, and then this side's totally different. My body. Can I pull my ribs in? Can I move my pelvis forward? And step into tree pose, any version you like. This one's just mine. I don't think I need to downshift or upshift. This is just the one I do, and I find it quite challenging, and it doesn't hurt. It's like maybe I can bend a little to the side, try to do things that I know I don't do well, because I know what I do well. And that's boring. Woohoo! It's really spicy in here. Warrior pose your way out. Warrior shape. Predictable, but find the nuance. It's the nuance here. It's like, for me, can I lean back and up? Really make space in my rib and pelvis area. That's my nuance. It's my work. As you dive down, it's like lizard pose or something in between. Could be a plank, the foot step back to the dog. Down the middle. Gentle back bend or full strong one. Last sequence here when you're ready. Narrow hands, narrow feet dog. Right foot steps up. Like that. Rise up earlier. We came up to a crescent toe lunge. Pause here. And then little soft knee bend to lengthen the psoas a little bit to the floor as you drip into a twist. So it's really easy here to just kind of like that. But it's a little bit harder to turn the thoracic spine, as a lot of the psoas, a lot of the back leg, and then side bend. And then you can bow in and say your prayers. And as you say your prayers, kind of press the hands down, wrap the spine up as you press right knee against left elbow. And you come back out when you're ready. So can you do the stages? That's when we get that meditation. I get it, at least, is when that deep concentration is necessary. Narrow dog, even finger to dog maybe. To a lunge, to a pause. Upward you go, inhale like a crescent toe lunge. Drip a little bit of the knee down for some buoyancy and some room for error as you wrap left waist back. Can I move my whole spine around? Then deeply bow. And then you can pray. Or not. This whole thing is is what you make it. It's all open to the lens, right? There's no one way. There's no right way. What's wrong for you could be right for me. To the top of the mat when you're ready. Float or fly. Walk carefully up. And pause like Utkatasana at the top. And like Utkatasana, the feet can be wide, the hips can be wide, mine just happen to meet. It's like this moment where you can unglue the thighs and try to spread the ribs from the pelvis. Just reach up like a prayer. When you're ready, let's stay tall and take this whole situation of standing tall to our backs. So if you stand up on your tippy toes, and you move through the Utkatasana, make it like as hard as you can get it. So I'm just going to slowly sit down. And from the Utka, it's like a tiny little baby ball here. And it's that head tuck that rounds the spine and allows you to roll back. You can land with your knees knocked together, arms wide. And take a little palate cleanser, windshield wiper, swing the knees over one way. Whatever knee, inner knees reaching towards the floor is fine. A little psoas tap. A little psoas tap, inner knee towards the floor. Here's the thought. How much do you need to grip your belly to practice yoga? So then the unconscious mind, is your belly always gripped? Can you lend it some soft ungripping? How would you do that? Would that be conscious? Would you just notice that it's gripping and just say, oh, that's the habit, soften? Would you work towards maybe some other way in, a physical way in, lengthening some other spot like the back of the body? Would you use a bolster to lift up and extend the back of the body and widen the belly? I don't know. Could be anything. Anyhow, find bridge pose shape. You don't have to do the situation yet, in fact. Please don't. Just the shape to start. And right out the gate, again, find as much as you can of this width between the pelvis and the ribs. And that might call for you to lengthen your spine back. And as you're ready here, just take a pause and breathe. And hands can do whatever they want for now. And I'm a little sideways here, so I'm going to start with my right leg to show this next shape. So if you were to take your right foot, walk it behind your left, you can kind of skitter towards your left hand and flare out towards your outer right thigh. And I'll lift up my left leg so you can see what it looks like. And this right leg could be Baddha Konasana, knees are crabby. And I lost the shape and the breath on my back, so I'll pause here and work towards pressing the outer right knee and the outer thigh line, that whole outer glute, TFL, outer knee, where insertions of the upper leg muscles come in to the lateral line of your leg all the way down. And you can pause there and that might be fine, but up level as you choose, left knee into your belly, keep pressing through right leg, keep pressing spine onto floor. It'd be easy for me to arch my back and I'd get a little more juice and get a little higher with my left leg, but I'm not really doing my psoas any service there. Take a couple of breaths to contemplate how the body responds to any little bit of work or pressure we put on it. And what's the sense of being able to ease back in? And the strap might be necessary here, but if the body is willing, it's hand to foot, left leg up, which I have a little bit of herniated disc, so this is about as far as I'm going. But clearly, you could grab here. And that's a charge to keep the back down, right leg out. Could feel mighty good if you got some ropey tight, overworked quads. Wrap it up by placing the left foot inside the right, like a little twist. Back, like back bend, knees to the right, like Bardhadrasana, heavy. Option here to stay, and please stay if you're happy, and I'll walk you through it, or to lengthen the right leg and kind of grab the top of the left foot into the right thigh and turn this into more of a classic twist. If you're happy to seal the knees together, widen the upper back, kind of linger in this twist and a back bend for a few moments. Pause and widen the inhale. Not only up, and that will be lifting. See if you can broaden the upper back with each inhale. And then it's the shape of bridge pose on your way out. You can do a little wiggle, a little windshield wiper, or knees in, wiggle, or happy baby, something right down the middle. Pause in the bridge pose. And other side as you're ready. So shape of bridge, sneak left foot behind. Press outer thigh down. Let that land on you first. So clearly there's a difference between two sides, one being more malleable, a little bit easier to shape and make a shape. And as you're ready, it's knee in. So clearly you could be in the Baddha Konasana too, or something like that here. So I would pause at each stage, and I am, to get a sense of what needs to be done. Where's the work? Is there any discomfort, or is this just some type of this tightness or lack of use or overuse? I don't know, but you really have to feel your way into shape. You can't just expect to land in it every time, right? Belt when you're ready, take a loop. Just gonna pause, work the ribs back down to the floor if they lifted up, 3 breaths here. And then last shape before Shavasana. The tongue gets hard, if the neck gets hard, soften all the parts. Let the work be into connecting the breath into the body. Even the spine long. Find a little spot where the right foot can land inside the left, like a cute little cup and a hold. Knees to the right or back wide. Excuse me, left. My left. Unless you're on your right. And then what's the work here? I mean, it could be a little press of the hips, like camel pose for me. I could be trying to extend the front of the body, which is work, it's muscular. Or it could be soft, like restorative, and just trying to let the buttocks and the knees unseal for a moment. Leave the pose on the exhale. Find one small bridge pose heels in, hips up, pull, heels to buttocks, and draw the chest up towards the chin. And stay, if you choose to, here as I speak, and you could land in kneeling if you like. Or if I had the time, I would take a 5-minute Shavasana, because it's totally a worthy cause. And what I want you to consider as you leave the practice is what I said at the beginning was layer into your Shavasana or your meditation this check-in that's so important right now in the world is like, how am I doing? And how is the world landing on me? And then how am I landing on the world? Right? Because it can't all be about me and what I'm getting, and it can't be all about what I'm giving. It's how we all meet, because, you know, that's how we all live together. That's where the peace comes from, right? That's where gratitude comes from, is everything coming together and looking at the beauty and the bounty of it. So may it be so for you and all your endeavors. Om Shanti. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope to see you in a live class someday soon.